I'm celebrating the J60. I thought my boss, President Clinton, made an undeniable point of democratic policy. Since the end of the Cold War, there have been 51 million jobs created in the United States. 50 million were created under Democratic presidents and 1 million under Republican presidents.
You know, that's
50 to 1.
Watching Bill Maher challenge another guest with his sharp anti-woke remarks was truly something to witness.
First of all, I love you. I love Britain. It's an important thing to say.
Okay.
Because as we both know, well, am I right?
Yeah.
As we both know, jobs created has a lot to do with what the last guy did. Clinton got rid of Glass-Steagall. Did that have anything to do with the collapse in 2008 of the economy? I think it did. So maybe some of the jobs that were lost.
I'm sorry.
It's just a built thing to say.
The man walked into the show thinking he and Maher were on the same ideological front. A huge miscalculation. Maher cranked up his verbal firepower, and the guests' woke arguments quickly went up in smoke during a stunning, unforgettable takedown. Buckle up. There's a lot to dissect here. It's intense.
The other thing I think we've been pretty aligned on is that the Democrats do better when they're center left and not far left.
Certainly.
It's better policy and it wins elections.
Right.
How do you think they did their convention with convincing the country that they are now back to the center left as opposed to the far left?
Well, first of all, you and I agreed, but that was one tough extraction getting Biden out of the race.
Yes, it was.
Anyway, they brought in the head of oral surgery at UCLA, Nancy Pelosi. And you know, I like a couple of hygienists like hacking away at it. Dr. Nancy came in and
Even some conservatives might find themselves nodding at Maher's opening point. Rather than plunging into the far left extreme, he suggests the left would do better staying closer to the center. Honestly, I can't disagree. It's essential to acknowledge and discuss topics like modern gender norms, LGBTQ rights, abortion access, and other progressive ideas. But when the pendulum swings too far, think strict pronoun enforcement, biological men competing in women's sports, or teenagers undergoing gender transitions, it stops being progress and starts tipping into chaos.
the country wanted something different. And the Democrats, they weren't looking for ethnic thing. They weren't looking for a war. They weren't looking for a new entitlement. The country wanted something different than Trump and Biden, and we gave it to them. And I'm not surprised the country's responding favorably. I really not.
Yeah, I thought that, for one thing, they sounded like America, which, you know, has been a problem with the left in recent years. They didn't sound like they liked America too much. And this convention, I heard a lot of it. You're lucky to be an American. You're privileged. It's the greatest country in the world. Like, thank you. Did you hear that, Congressman? Did you feel like that was sincere?
Let's be honest, during the last election, Kamala Harris didn't exactly earn a standing ovation. With establishment backing, Hollywood endorsements, and a mountain of campaign funds, she should have secured a landslide victory. Yet, the results told a very different story. Still, some on the left cling to the idea that Harris ran one of the tightest races in history. Nothing could be further from the truth. She lost the popular vote, dropped several swing states, and was decisively defeated in the Electoral College. It was far from close. It was a political crash. The numbers don't lie. What the left calls momentum was in reality little more than hope wrapped in fantasy.
I never criticize Democrats for putting on a good show. I will never criticize Democrats for being good at politics. What I criticize Democrats for is being bad at policy and governing. They put on a great show. They got those celebrities in there. They dusted off those American flags that they had previously held in the attic or burned occasionally. And then they brought them out for that freedom wave.
Very few
Okay,
Democrats
but
burned
the Democrat activists burned down cities. We, as members of Congress, just a few weeks ago, we had to go put American flags back up over Union Station, Washington.
Crenshaw hits the nail on the head. Patriotism isn't something you can schedule, yet we've all seen the White House swap the stars and stripes for the Pride flag during Pride Month. This points to a deeper issue: selective love for America. To signal solidarity or win favor, they drape themselves in the flag. But when protests gain political momentum, that same flag suddenly becomes a target, burned in the streets or mocked online. Crenshaw's observation is hard to ignore. Loving your country only when it benefits you isn't patriotism, it's a performance.
They put on a good show. They're
right.
full of hope and joy, and I get it. Like, that's great. Starry-eyed views of optimism of the future. But on policy, not so great. And in the end, this is going to be about policy. They were very light on that. Why? Because they don't want to contend with the fact that they own the last 4 years of policy. we do have a very unique opportunity here where we have two candidates where you can look at 4 years and 4 years. You know exactly what they're going to do and you know exactly what the outcomes are. And on every metric, Donald Trump wins on this. And so that's what we're going to keep pushing this election toward is what are the metrics that will actually make your life better? Donald Trump wins on this, on the policy and the outcomes associated.
Crenshaw nailed it. The Democrats keep relying more on feelings and slogans than on real ideas, and that's exactly why they're struggling. Almost a year after losing the election, they still haven't presented a clear, unified vision for the future. Ask 10 Democrats about their top policy priorities, and you'll likely get 10 different answers. There's no coherent message for working-class Americans who feel left behind, no firm stance on border security, and no consistent economic plan. Sure, the campaign had all the media attention, massive donations, and celebrity endorsements aimed at Kamala Harris, but no amount of glitz can replace a genuine message. In the end, voters saw right through it. It wasn't that the Democrats were bad, it's that they stood for nothing the average American could connect with.
Of you, I left Britain. It's a bullshit thing to say.
Okay.
Because as we both know, well, am I right?
Yeah.
As we both know, jobs created, it has a lot to do with what the last guy did. Clinton got rid of Glass-Steagall. Did that have anything to do with the collapse in 2008 of the economy? I think it did. So maybe some of the jobs that were lost.
I'm sorry.
It's just a bullshit thing to say.
I don't think it is.
You got to tie a policy to an outcome. I can tie policies from Donald Trump to outcomes. So you cut taxes, you cut regulations. What does that do? It makes it easier to do business and hire people. So you're going to have jobs.
Maher is spot on. Job numbers alone don't tell the full story. What really matters is the quality of those positions and the financial stability they provide. If most of the new jobs are low-paying, temporary, or part-time, claiming millions of jobs were created doesn't reflect true progress. Often overlooked is the number of jobs lost during that period, which wiped out much of the supposed gains. On paper, the figures under Clinton's economic leadership in 2008 might have looked promising, but the reality was different. Many of these roles offered little opportunity for growth or long-term security. Meanwhile, other parts of the economy were struggling: stagnant wages, rising costs, and a worsening housing crisis. Headlines may have looked good, but they didn't capture the real experience of working Americans. Maher's point is clear. If these jobs don't generate real economic value, their sheer number isn't meaningful.
Policy to an outcome. I can tie policies from Donald Trump to outcomes. So you cut taxes, you cut regulations. What does that do? It makes it easier to do business and hire people. So you're going to have job growth. You had 8% wage increase after inflation under Donald Trump before the pandemic. Actually, 16% if you're talking about the lowest quintile of earners. Under Biden, it's been 0. So on every metric, he wins, and I can go down the list.
I guess that crime is down 30%. The stock market is up. The metrics that y'all choose are just BS metrics.
No, I
This metric isn't meaningless. It's actually the most important one. When we talk about the economy, we look at tangible, measurable signs: business-friendly policies, significant tax cuts, low inflation, and fewer restrictions. These are the real drivers of higher incomes, job creation, and a stronger middle class. That's why Kamala Harris fell short, and why Trump resonated with so many Americans. He focused on what truly mattered to working families: rising living costs, take-home pay, and a government that didn't bog down small businesses with excessive red tape. Meanwhile, Kamala and the Democrats were more invested in culture wars and pleasing the radical left than addressing everyday concerns. In the end, voters spoke with their wallets, not hashtags, and the left is still struggling to accept it.
Democrats have done a better job at job creation, but it's not 50-1. So don't lie to me. You know what? I'm an ally to you lie.
Please fact check. Either Bill's right or I'm right.
Well,
Fact check.
the numbers don't necessarily mean.
But it's 50-1.
You understand what I feel.
We had the lowest unemployment in 50 years under Trump. And again, you have to associate an outcome with policies. And you can't tell me what Biden policy resulted in better jobs. If we're increasing our jobs.
Also, there was a pandemic that had a lot to do with that.
There's a massive.
There's a lot of factors that go into it. It's a good. Again, let's move on.
When James Carville proudly claimed that Democrats created 50 million jobs compared to just 1 million under Trump, he likely expected Bill Maher to cheer along. Carville seemed poised for a clear victory and a chance to score political points, but Maher wasn't having it. He immediately challenged him, pointing out that the numbers didn't tell the full story. Maher emphasized that job creation isn't just a statistic. Context matters. Global events, economic cycles, and the post-pandemic rebound all played a role in inflating those figures. In short, correlation doesn't equal causation. Carville tried to frame it as proof of democratic superiority, but Maher reminded everyone that numbers can be misleading and real leadership is measured by sustained economic performance, not flashy statistics.
This country simply has no education standards anymore. They will let you out of a public high school and give you a diploma, and you don't have to actually know anything, which used to be the mission of schools, knowing things. I know it's super important to stop the grooming of our kids, or I don't know, to start it. And certainly critical race theory must be stricken from the curriculum, or who knows, maybe included in all of it. But, you know, while we're having those fights, could someone please notice that the kids don't actually know any?
The real crisis in our schools is unfolding while everyone's attention is caught up in economic debates. America's education system is crumbling. Students are leaving classrooms without basic skills in math, reading, and writing. Merit has been replaced by ideology. Schools are increasingly treated as social experiments where attendance often outweighs academic achievement, driven by initiatives like DEI and critical race theory. Diplomas are handed out for participation, and excellence has been sacrificed in the name of equity. The meritocracy that once made American education a global benchmark has been abandoned. Now, we face the consequences. A generation conditioned to see work as meaningless, ill-prepared for real-world challenges, and unable to compete internationally. This isn't just a policy failure, it's a moral failure, gradually eroding the nation's intellectual foundation.
As I travel this country on weekends doing stand-up now, I see the political ads that are running on the local TV markets, and I think, how can this possibly work on people? And then I remember, oh yes, they think Queen Elizabeth is from Egypt. When again, plainly, it's Brazil.
Indeed, the damage Democrats inflicted on our education system while in power is staggering. Years of prioritizing political agendas over academic excellence have left students unprepared, teachers frustrated, and schools weakened. Thankfully, change is on the horizon. In a bid to correct these missteps and bring accountability back to the classroom, the president is taking legal action against schools that put divisive, woke ideologies above real learning. The message is clear. Schools exist to educate, not to indoctrinate. The aim is to revive the values that once made American education a global standard: merit, discipline, and common sense. If this momentum continues, schools could once again be places where hard work, integrity, and achievement are celebrated. Ultimately, Maher's speech succeeded in shining a spotlight on the critical issues confronting modern politics and culture. Even outspoken liberals like Bill Maher have begun criticizing the left for straying so far from reason, caught up in identity politics and performative wokeness while neglecting the issues that truly matter. The focus on pronouns, protests, and virtue signaling may dominate headlines, but everyday Americans are exhausted by it. They care far more about inflation, job security, and providing their children with a quality education than about political theater. The Democrats' emphasis on culture wars and appeasing the radical left has come at the expense of clear policies, coherent economic plans, and educational accountability, leaving working families disconnected and frustrated. Figures like Trump and Crenshaw understand that leadership is defined not by slogans or rhetoric, but by substance and results. Maher underscored this point during his exchanges with James Carville, highlighting that flashy statistics, like job creation claims, mean little without context and sustained economic value. Similarly, the collapse of meritocracy in American schools demonstrates the consequences of prioritizing ideology over achievement. Years of policies that rewarded participation over excellence, promoted divisive agendas, and neglected core skills in reading, math, and writing have left a generation unprepared for the real world. Reforms aimed at restoring merit, discipline, and accountability in classrooms are essential to reversing these trends. The broader lesson is clear. The nation doesn't need more slogans or symbolic gestures. It needs results. Restoring responsibility, common sense, and pride in hard work is not just a political goal, it is the foundation upon which America was built. Leaders who focus on tangible outcomes rather than performative politics can rebuild trust, strengthen the economy, and ensure that education once again equips students to succeed. In the end, it is through action, not appearance, that the country can reclaim its principles and prosperity.